Where's the butter, Unc Nunky?"
asked Ojo. Unc looked out the window and stroked his long beard. Then he turned to the Munchkin boy and shook his head. "Isn't," said he.
"Isn't any butter? That's too bad, Unc. Where's the jam, then?"
inquired Ojo, standing on a stool so he could look through all the shelves of the cupboard. But Unc Nunky shook his head again. "Gone," he said.
"No jam either, and no cake, no jelly, no apples, nothing but bread?"
"All," said Unc, again stroking his beard as he gazed from the window. The little boy brought the stool and sat beside his uncle, munching the dry bread slowly and seeming in deep thought.
"Nothing grows in our yard but the bread tree," he mused. "And there are only 2 more loaves on that tree, and they're not ripe yet. Tell me, Unc, why are we so poor?"
The old Munchkin turned and looked at Ojo. He had kindly eyes, but he hadn't smiled or laughed in so long that the boy had forgotten that Unc Nunky could look any other way than solemn. And Unc never spoke any more words than he was obliged to, so his little nephew, who lived alone with him, had learned to understand a great deal from one word.
"Why are we so poor, Unc?"
repeated the boy. "Not," said the old Munchkin.
"I think we are," declared Ojo. "What have we got?"
"House," said Unc Nunky.
"I know, but everyone in the land of Oz has a place to live. What else, Unc?"
"Bread."
"I'm eating the last loaf that's ripe. There, I've put aside your share, Unc. It's on the table, so you can eat it when you're hungry. But when that is gone, what shall we eat, Unc?"
The old man shifted in his chair, but merely shook his head.
"Of course,"
said Ojo, who was obliged to talk because his uncle would not.
"No one starves in the land of Oz either. There is plenty for everyone, you know. Only, if it isn't just where you happen to be, you must go where it is."
The aged Munchkin wriggled again and stared at his small nephew as if disturbed by his argument.
"By tomorrow morning," the boy went on, "we must go where there is something to eat, or we shall grow very hungry and become very unhappy."
"Where?" asked Unc.
"Where shall we go? I don't know, I'm sure," replied Ojo. "But you must know, Unc. You must have traveled in your time because you're so old. I don't remember it because ever since I could remember anything, we've lived right here in this lonesome round house with a little garden back of it and the thick woods all around. All I've ever seen of the great land of Oz, Unc dear, is the view of that mountain over at the south, where they say the Hammerheads live, who won't let anybody go by them, and that mountain at the north, where they say nobody lives."
"One," declared Unc, correcting him.
"Oh, yes, one family lives there, I've heard. That's the Crooked Magician who is named Dr. Pipt, and his wife Margaret. One year you told me about them. I think it took you a whole year, Unc, to say as much as I've just said about the Crooked Magician and his wife. They live high up on the mountain, and the good Munchkin country, where the fruits and flowers grow, is just the other side. It's funny you and I should live here all alone, in the middle of the forest, isn't it?"
"Yes," said Unc.
"Then let's go away and visit the Munchkin country and its jolly, good-natured people. I'd love to get a sight of something besides woods, Unc Nunky."
"Too little," said Unc.
"Why, I'm not so little as I used to be," answered the boy earnestly. "I think I can walk as far and as fast through the woods as you can, Unc. And now that nothing grows in our backyard that is good to eat, we must go where there is food."
Unc Nunky made no reply for a time. Then he shut down the window and turned his chair to face the room, for the sun was sinking behind the treetops and it was growing cool. By and by, Ojo lighted the fire and the logs blazed freely in the broad fireplace. The two sat in the firelight a long time, the old white-bearded Munchkin and the little boy. Both were thinking. When it grew quite dark outside, Ojo said, "Eat your bread, Unc, and then we will go to bed." But Unc Nunkie did not eat the bread. Neither did he go directly to bed. Long after his little nephew was sound asleep in the corner of the room, the old man sat by the fire, thinking.